Comrades, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. I am Admiral Andre and I'm very eager to begin today. We are going to be adding to our Mir station. We want to work on the Kvant 2 today. That was launched in 1989. However, I have also noticed, as I'll show you in a moment, we will need to relaunch the Kvant 1 as well, because we actually need some solar panels on there and I did not make provision for that. But I'll show you that, and then of course we'll focus on the main thing, which is Kvant 2. And once we have a look at that, I will meet you in the VAB and we will begin. So let's have a look. Comrades, so let's have a look here. This is, of course, the overall image of Mir as it was in, well, I think it says on the other page here. 1990, no, this is the Kvant. There's the Mir page. This was 96, May. Now, I noticed something here, of course. If we have a look at Kvant 1, of course we know we still have to add this truss segment here, but look at these solar panels, which I never included on the module that we have there. So I think I'm going to have to redesign this, comrades, and we're going to have to send up a replacement just to have these solar panels. Now, of course, we don't have a large selection of solar panels, especially when it comes to the very big size. We only have one, so it's all going to have to be the same thing. But yes, I think we're going to have to do that, at least to get it to look like this, basically. That's the final idea. Let me just have a look here. Also, I just want to see if we have a look at Mir. I was looking at some Trump stuff here about Iran in the background, but anyway, that's other issues. Let's just have a look. I want to search Mir again. Mir. Now, let's see. This is, well, it's hard to say. This was after completion in 96, so not that hard. Yes, it definitely does have these solar panels, so they probably added them to the Kvant 1 at a later point in time. Not sure. But that's easy. The only thing I'll do there is add the 2 solar panels. So, okay, that sets that aside now. So today we're going to be looking at Kvant 2, and on this image it is, I think, this one on the top. Yes, Kvant 2. That was the next module added. Now, apparently, from what I could figure out here, this thing had its own engines, and it was the same with all of the others except Kvant 1, which we saw already. So we are going to have to build engines on this thing, and let me just go back to the search that I had there. Kvant 2, this one. So this is a very good image here. There we can see the engines actually sat there in the sort of middle. I suppose that's the same thing that it would have had with that other tug module, because I was wondering last episode with the Mir, where was the engines on that Kvant 1 tug? But I think it must have been on the sides as well. So the docking port is on this side, then we have another adapter. Then it gets a bit more complicated. Now, from this, it does look like it angles back inward again. So it's like an adapter and then another adapter just flipped around. Then there's a central section here with varying diameters, but there we'll just keep it all the same, obviously. Then there's another adapter, another diameter smaller than that, and then another adapter that comes to the point here where we have the airlock. Now, I already have an idea for that, but this will have to be the 1.25 meter diameter. Then this will have to be the 1.875. Then this will have to be the 2.5. Now, that means we are going to have to go beyond the 2.5 to create this kind of effect, unless we skip that sort of thing. Because we still have a very big issue here. Somewhere I want to create a module with a lab in it, because I know it's sandbox, but somewhere I want a lab. Just because in the Kerbal terms, that's a very good module to have. And I mean, most of these were anyway dedicated to lab experiments of varying descriptions. The only issue is which one are we going to pick for the lab? Perhaps more than one even. Now, Kvant 1 is out because it's too small anyway. and this was an astrophysics module. The Kvant 2 is an augmentation module, and it does have, of course, the EVA airlock, the instrument cargo compartment, and there is the experiment compartment. So there is some justification for putting a lab in this thing. So yes, it also had a shower, a water regeneration unit there, water storage system, 6 more gyrodynes to help stabilize and move around the station there, and then scientific equipment including a camera, spectrometers, X-ray sensors, and so on. So we might throw on some more experiments here as well. So yes, I'm wondering if we shouldn't use Kvant 2 for our lab. Maybe we'll use some of the others as well. But the next one will be Crystal. Now Crystal was also a materials processing lab. Now there I want to use one of our materials processing units, because we actually do have something like that. How we'll put it together I don't know yet, but you see they have various furnaces, and this was for sort of experimenting on materials, obviously, as the name suggests, but we can use it as an ore processing facility. Sort of, you know. Again, we don't need it in a sandbox anyway, but it would be nice to have it, and this is the most appropriate place. Of course, more experiments, so we could even use another lab there. And then beyond that, of course, the Buran would have docked, but eventually the shuttle docked there, but this will be the docking module, so that's much later. Crystal also had more gyrodynes, so we're going to put more reaction wheels on this thing for the attitude control, obviously as everything gets bigger. Now all of these modules also have solar panels on them, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Spectre has 4 of them, and this is a power module, so I'm not going to use that for a lab, I think. Spectre was one of the 3 modules launched during the Shuttle Mir program. It served as living quarters for the American astronauts, so this will use a hitchhiker container, I think, so we can put more Kerbals in there for crew. Housed also some NASA-sponsored experiments and so on. Remote observation and sort of research again. Really everything, of course, with a space station is for research anyway. But it generated half of the power. It also had a science airlock to expose experiments to the vacuum of space. But we won't worry, because that doesn't have meaning for us. We're going to use the airlock on the Kvant 2 if we have to do a spacewalk, since that's anyway for experiments. Then the docking module, we'll worry about that later. Then Priroda is the last one, with this large antenna on the side for Earth observation, remote sensing. Now we have a part for that, so we'll use it. That's of course with the scanning module. And microwave, near infrared, and so on. So yes, any of these could really be used for a lab as well. And you'll see they have great similarities between them. So they have this central diameter. Of course, it doesn't have the airlock on the end. Then it has this going wider and then back narrower to the airlock. And then it has 2 panels on the side here on the top. And some antennas, and then more panels on the side. Now with that it gets a bit complicated. We'll have to see what we can do there. But anyway, back to Kvant 2 today. So I think, Comrades, because it is anyway dedicated, I don't know, because they did say it has the water and sort of showers and all of that in it. So really, is that a good thing to have a lab in it? I'm not sure. Rodnik water supply system and so on. Maybe we can use this for more hitchhiker containers then. Difficult to say. Well, we'll have to pick one of them. I guess we'll use hitchhikers here, because that's why we're going to have the airlock anyway. Then we'll use another one for the experiments, for the lab, or even the other 2. But anyway, the issue here is, again, there's so many things happening on this module on the outside that I cannot all recreate. So we'll put some of the smaller RCS tanks on the outside, but only on the top, it seems. Then there's the gyrodynes, but for us we'll just use a reaction wheel on the inside, even though these were on the outside. There's an antenna thing on the outside here. I'm wondering if we should put some guardrails or You know, like a ladder here for the crew to hold on to when they go onto a spacewalk. It's difficult to say. We can't see something like that here because it wouldn't have been like a literal ladder anyway. But here we see now very nicely the solar panels are above the midpoint of the length here. So what's that, about just over half? Not even 2/3 of the way? Let me just measure this sort of and not knock things over here. So if we take that as the top, then yes, it's just over the halfway point. That's where I'll attach the panels. Now, here's another good image. Lots of stuff here happening. Good grief. I can't recreate this all. But there's the engines. You can see it right there. So this is what we'll use to get this thing into a close orbit. And then we'll have to use the RCS blocks, which this thing had several of. And there is a nice image somewhere that actually shows that. If I could find that now. Somewhere I saw that. Now, of course, it's going to be impossible to find that image. Was it on this one? Kvant? No? Oh well. We'll improvise anyway. But still strange. Well, we'll still have to look through some of them anyway. But there is stabilized platforms. I don't know what that is. There it is. Precision attitude control thrusters. So it's like a block there on the side, but not on the top. So the side where the solar panels is. So there, and I assume there would be one in the front right there. I think that's where I saw it before. Somewhere. There looks like there's something there. Anyway, so I am wondering still what to do about the diameter here. It's difficult to say because the widest that we want to go is 2.5, but then we still want these panels and then still this effect of the thing going wider and narrower again, unless we just skip that and just go out and then straight across, then narrower and narrower again. Maybe that would be simplest. But then we also have these panels on the side. Very clearly you can see them there. We can create that with some of the actual structural panels. I don't know if it has 4 of them or just the 2. It's so difficult to say because, you know, the images are not from all angles. But there's 2 of them. I don't think there's any on the bottom. So we'll just create them on one side. And there is a Kerbal and there is a Kerbal. So there's a Kerbal, there's a Kerbal. People have been doing this for a while. Let's have a look at this one. TO's content. What is this? Now this is obviously not stock, which is what I tend to do. Or is it? That does look like it's stock. Now how on earth did they do that? How do you do that diameter? That's a strange one. Looks like they put several smaller, like 1.5 meter or 1.25 meter things together to create that diameter, but I don't want to do that. I'll come up with my own solution there. Thank you very much. I'll even maybe put one of those, what do you call it? Fuel cells on the side. That creates a nice texture like that thing there. Then the tanks go on the side of the solar panels. This is actually a great image. So there's the engines, of course, pointing down towards the station again. So we're going to have to put some fuel on this thing as well. Now here it actually looks like we have a wide diameter, then it goes narrower and narrower. Maybe we'll do that, comrades. Then we won't worry about this thing going narrower there. Okay, let's do that. So with that said, comrades, let's get into the game and see what we can do. Right, comrades, now that that's out of the way, let's see what we can do. First of all, we'll need a probe core because this thing will have to stand on its own to get to the Mir station. Now, I am not going to use the 2 meter one or the 2.5 meter one as we saw in that other Kerbal example, because I'm not going to be ripping anyone off here. I want to do my own thing. Now, there's of course the red flag in the background. I could just upload the Soviet flag, but I don't know. Doesn't really matter. We've already got the Admiral flag on the main core module anyway. But, so yes, let's just see what we can do here. Now, the main thing, of course, is we've now decided that the best is to use the hitchhiker container here, not the actual lab module. However, I need to have a look quickly at the length and width and all of that of this thing, which I have now not done. Let's just have a look here. Kvant 2, right-click and open a new tab. And what do you have for me? Okay, so the diameter is 4.35. Now let me just write this stuff down here quickly. 4.35, and the length is 12.2 meter. Okay, so with that said, I'm just gonna have to try again to recreate this relatively. At least it helps me to keep my bearings here so we don't go nuts with the scale. Now, shall we take 2.5 for our diameter here? I'm wondering. Because now, as we saw with this thing, it actually goes wider and then narrower. So maybe what we want to do here, it is now going to be a bit weird because this will be wider than the core module. Let's just try it. Let's see what we can do here. So actually we'll need some fuel anyway. But here I'm just going to put a... We'll just throw this stuff on. Actually we might as well use a structural tube since we have that. Structural... this one? No, smaller one. And then just take a length like that. Doesn't matter now. This is purely a structural element. Then I need the 125 diameter fairing thing here. Now that goes wider like this. Let's not go too far. And then it goes back in like that. No, that's not good. Okay, let's just experiment with this thing. Now of course here we're going to have our docking port. Let me have a look at this. Now the real thing does stick out a little here. If I go back to the images, Kvant 2, just go back to that diagram that we were looking at. There is like a little length before the adapter section begins. Interesting. Maybe what we could do is make this shorter. Then this sort of thing could overlap with that as well. That could work, maybe. Interesting. I think it's a bit too wide though. Let's try again. Edit fairing. Of course I don't want those rails sticking out there. Oh, this is simply impossible. Maybe they can stick out there. I don't know. This is just an experiment for now. So what do we need then? Of course we'll need those panels and stuff, but now we have to just see how much more we can push this thing. Now I'm not going to take this as the diameter because that will give us an oversized length here. So I'll stick with a 2.5 meter diameter. Now let me just do my calculations quickly so we can see how much length we have to play with here. That was not meant to be as inappropriate as it sounded. Okay, so we'll have about 7 meters length here, if this thing is of course accurate. Now this already tells us we have 6.2, but it also gives us a width of 2.8 here. No, actually I'm looking, no, what are we looking for? Length. What is the length here now? Length is like this now. Don't know why they differ there. They should be the same thing. Strange, this thing is not very accurate. But we look at the height now. So actually we have only 7 meters there. That's very odd. So we don't have a lot of space here. This is a strange thing here. Is this thing accurate? Let me just have a look again. I'll do this with you. So it says that the width is 4.35 meters. Now we are going to take what shall we take now? 2.5 as our width, but then again this thing is not going to count as 2.5. It counts as 2.6. So let's take that then. 2.6 times 100 divided by 4.35 gives me 59.77. So let's round that off to 59.8. So then I will take, so remember 59.8. So then 12.2 meters times 0.598. Oh, good grief. 59.8 equals 7.29. So that is the right length, 7.29. That's very interesting there. Hey, if it's accurate. Now that's 2.2 meters height here. That's what we're looking at, the height. Now I add this. Now it suddenly goes to 6.2. But we haven't even doubled it. Come on, this is junk. This is junk status. This is an absolute lie. If that's 2.2 meters high, and this thing you can clearly see is not even as long as that, and we add them together, it gives us 6.2. This is trash, absolute trash calculation, so I'm going to ignore it. We'll just have to go and guess, comrades. We'll just have to guess. Now, let's have a look. Beyond this, if I go back to the photographs, again, let's take a very simplified approach to this thing. It gets narrower now. Then it stays at that length for or width for a while. Let's just have a look at some of the other ones. So that's the 2.5. Then that must be the 1875. So that's actually longer than that. Okay, well, let's see what we can do. Alright, so we'll just move this thing in here. Of course, we still need power as well. So we'll say this is, of course, part of the module. It's built in here. We don't need too much battery capacity, although we can add some more. And then we'll move this into the thing because it's part of this module now. We'll tweak that a bit later. Now, we need something to go narrower. I'm going to take this brand adapter because we need something that's very short to go in here. Now, you see, this is why we need to tweak it a little. Just a bit so it doesn't overlap or leave gaps there. Now we need a 1.875 meter length. Now, in this case, just go back to the image. According to this one that I'm seeing here, this section is a bit longer than the one that we have already. Let's go to this one. This is historic spacecraft. Now if I just guess here, because this basically excludes all of those tanks and stuff on the outside, so it simplifies it. So yes, this section must now be as long as, I would say, from there to there. So let's have a look. What are we going to use for that? Could I use this? This is too long. No. Let's use this one. Of course, we empty it out completely. It's now part of the crew habitat. Then I'll move this down so it just beautifully fits in there without leaving any gaps like that. Now, let's see. I know this is junk status down here as well, so I'll fix that soon. Let's add another one of these. And another one. Now it says 8.7 meters, but I'm not trusting this thing. How could we add all of that and it's now only gone from 6 to 8? But when we add this little bit, it goes from 2 to 6. It's insane. It's so this is 5 meters. So I think we're on the right path anyway. I think the fairings mess up the calculation there. Now, at this point, we need to add the solar panel as well. If I'm seeing all of this right here. Okay, so a solar panel needs to... How on earth are we going to fit a solar panel in there? Obviously, it's going to clash now, but we'll say this is again the side, so it should be about there. Of course, I'll have to move it out so it doesn't clip there. Just trying to get the outlines right. Now we need a narrowing. That's probably the best I can do there. It should be a bit longer, but we don't have a longer one that goes from 1.875 to 1.25. This one is, of course, much narrower, and this one is too big, and this one is very long. so I don't want that. So with this said, I'm going to put the airlock on here. Now to do this, I had an idea. We're going to take our friend again, the cubic strut here. Just one. Throw it on its side. Thusly. Then I'll take another one of the lander cans. And because I want this to be a usable airlock. And this is of course an excellent one to use. It also gives us a bit of wheel authority. I guess we'll count that as part of the gyrodyne system. Then we don't have to add another reaction wheel. So then I need to move this into the middle somewhere. We'll have to judge this roughly. And then of course down. Now some parts of it will stick out unfortunately, but I think it can work. Oh, come on, don't misclick now. The parrot is busy carrying on again in the background. Let's move this just so it looks balanced like that, and then back down again. Now in this case, oh, it's not going further. Well, maybe the thing itself will. Yep. So all that we want there is the door to show. So you'll see these sides are now sticking out, but I can live with that because it just looks like it's part of the outer texture of the thing anyway, which has these sort of ridges anyway. All that I want is this thing to look nice here. So let's get a... Oh no, I don't want it sticking out all the way to the top. That looks a bit weird. So let's go back again. There's a bit sticking out there, like that. We'll say this is where it should be. Now, of course, we still see some of the background sticking out there, so I'll try to fix that. What could we use for that? This is now just to make it look a little bit nicer. I wonder if the engine plates don't come in the right size there. What about a small adapter and then flipped around? And then moved down. Just so it fills that bit up there, you know. But it mustn't stick out on the outside there on its own. There, that looks a bit better. So that does the airlock. I like that. I think that works. If we have a look at the overall length here, or height in this case, it tells us 9.3. But if I take this away, it tells us 5.5. So if we take that to be accurate, then how much is that of 5.5? About a quarter? So that would make it around 7-ish meters. I like it. We'll take this as our scale, comrades. Now I just want to fix this thing that's happening here. Also we'll need fuel on this thing, so I'm going to use the fairing to cover that up. We don't need too much, but this thing has to... No, that won't work. Has to get into an orbit. Okay, what if I put it there? That could work. It shouldn't have too much fuel anyway. But I don't like this thing on the bottom here. It looks awful. Edit fairing. Let's try there and then... I wish it would snap right there. Well, I just have to move this thing now, but it's sticking out there. There we go. That can work. Now, should that be... Yes, I like that. It must be very, very narrow. It's not a very big thing there. But should it be a different color? I think that might work a bit better. Okay, let's just save this for now. Okay, now let's go back to the thing. So there's a window as well. Oh dear. Actually, it's not that narrow. No, it has to be longer. Has to be longer. I think if we just move it out Okay, that's as far as it will go. Okay, get rid of this stuff for now. That is as far as it can go. And then down like that. That looks better, yes. Okay, this will do, comrades. I'm not gonna fiddle with that anymore. Let's try and put this back in here again. Just so it doesn't clip through there. We've still got lots of space here. So, that's for our fuel storage. So with that said, let's see, there are now engines on the top of this thing. If we assume the solar panels are on the side, then that means the engines must be here and here. Now, of course, we're not going to use this door here as an airlock, so I can cover it up. But what are we going to use for an engine? The verniers, maybe? That gives us only 230 meters. But maybe that's all that we need, just for orbital maneuvering anyway. It's not going to place itself in orbit. Okay, let's toy around with this a little bit. I know this is not going to look exact now, but that's okay. It didn't have these engine nozzles. It was a totally different design. Sort of just like that, but without the nozzle. But of course, I don't have that luxury. So, ish, comrades. Let's just see what we need to do beyond that. Now, we need to cover up the sides of this thing with panels, if we assume this to be the top of the module. So, let me have a look. Now, I have no idea what this panel is going to be attached to. Is it like a thing with sides, or is it drifting away from the body? This image makes it look like it's detached there. And this one, just let it load. No, those are like solid blocks, but is it on all sides or not? What about this image? Again, only from the one side. I can't tell. Nobody takes a picture of the thing from the bottom. Always from the one side. How bizarre is that? But I can see it doesn't look like it has panels on the other side. Although this one makes it look like it does. We might just go for symmetry anyway. Alright, let's see what we can do here. Now these do look like solid panels now, so this complicates things a little. So it has to go to about there. Now let's take 4 of them and then move them in, and then I'm going to have to fill them up. Let's say about as wide as the fairing there. Let's see. Now this is going to take a little while. Of course it's not going to snap there now. Okay, well, so be it. Let's play around with this. I wanted to cover up that ugly side there. On both counts. There, okay, that'll do. Now I'll just have to keep doing this. Now, comrade, instead of you sitting through this, I'm gonna just quickly do this and then I'll be back with you. So I'm just continuing this. You'll see in a moment. Right, comrades, there we go. At least I think that's generally more or less the thing. So it's just a series, of course, of structural panels going right through, and then we can see very clearly down there. It's hollow, of course. There's no one on the bottom, just on the sides there. Now I just want to go back to the image again, or images, so we can see this thing. It looks like it's kind of actually, oh no. Now this is a Kerbal version again, so I don't know who to trust anymore. But that one makes it look like there's sort of round tanks underneath those panels, and the panels are just there to cover it up, sort of protect it from the one side. Can I see the real thing? The real thing doesn't look like that though. If I view the image here, I can't zoom in anymore, but it does look like it's solid from the sides, or if there's something, it's not just two round pipes there. I'm not sure what to do now. Let me just have a look again. Now, that's the one side. Now, the side where the solar panels are, there's also like these round tanks in the middle. So this would now cover up the window here. Unless I just roll this thing around. Make it cover the door instead. Yes, I think let's do that. Just take this and flip it like that. Then we shall say... Still, this is the top of it. Oh well, doesn't matter. Go up, meet the thing there again. Like that. Let's put aside the panels for now. So we're going to cover this up with, it looks like two tanks almost from the side. I guess that might also be part of the water system thing. But what are we going to use for that? Two of these. Now of course I'll empty all of this out. Color choice. Oh, that doesn't look too good. No. Let's use the 1875 again. That's a bit too short. Maybe two of these. So no windows here, comrades. Windows are up there. Then this stuff goes in like that almost. Kinda-ish. And of course it's covered on both sides, so let's use one of these again, even though that's not now strictly the right size. Oh, that's not gonna work. These are not gonna work either, too big. Just the normal tanks then. Not that sharp. Like that. Okay. So two of these. Again, comrades, this is an act of interpretation. This is almost like an art form, you know. By interpreting the art form, you are infusing it with your own identity as well. That looks so very odd, though. Why is it... Oh, this thing is not... Oh, no. No, that was fine. It's not in the middle. That's better. Now I know that's still too sharp an angle there. But an act of interpretation, I guess. Let me just see if I move this to what point does it look neat there, but that sticks out too far. No. Gonna have to try something else. Take this stuff off. Give me the flat ones again. Put them there, and then let's see if we could move them. I'm only concerned about covering up the outside. Kinda-ish. No. Undo. Can you give it back? Thank you. I guess kinda we'll go with that. But now, this thing is actually looking quite nice, I have to say here. It's starting to turn out very interesting. But we still have some issues now. There is a window there, and there is another thing. But we won't worry too much about that. But I can get around that. So I need a way now to get the solar panel attachment to work. That's the next big thing. Now, how on earth? That diameter doesn't look like it goes narrower. Different pictures show different things. Ugh. You know what it's starting to look like? But now let me just look at this now. Hey, that's the thing now. But it almost looks like the whole thing is this diameter, but then only this tank bulges out to the 2.5 meter diameter. But no, let's not worry about that. That other image clearly showed this is a different diameter down here. So we'll do the same thing we did with the core module. We'll put it on a raised strut system here. And then we'll see what we can do about that. Like that, I suppose. Again, comrades, it's an act of interpretation. At the end of the day, no one is going to make it exactly the same way. Let's see if that works. That's clear there. So if we then extend it, that actually kind of looks nice there. I still think this tank is a bit too far out though. Now I know it's going to look a bit strange when we move it in a bit, just as far as those things like that. Now this gives an uneven line there at the top, which I can't get away no matter how I slice it. So I might as well not slice it. So let's just, that's very bizarre. You saw it here first. So okay, that's the thing there now. We need some windows on this part here. So I think I'm going to use those passenger modules for that, this thing. But now, shall we just use one? Or shall we use two? Because then if we use two, they're going to overlap. But I suppose we'll say this whole thing is a habitable module, so the fact that they overlap is irrelevant because they're just there for the windows. So then, well, that works. They're attaching to this adapter here now, which is maybe a good thing. I know they're slightly off angle there, but that's okay. Let's move them as far up as we can. Let's see if we play around with them. Guesswork again. And then we just move them so just the windows stick out. Like that. Again, we're probably going to have the same issue that we had with the lander can in the Kvant 1, where we can't see through the windows. But we can do a test before we launch. I like that. That looks nice. I know it's not exactly in line with those two lines there. But if I go to the image for the window, we see the window, the big one on the bottom, is basically in line with the top of the solar panel. It should go further. Oh no, why do I do this to myself? Could have just said it's good enough. Nope, never gonna do that. Never gonna do that. So let's pick something to make up the length here. Can't see. Now this is where things go a little wild because there's so many overlapping things in here now. Are you not gonna snap to it now? It doesn't want to snap to it. Okay, that snapped. Let's see where it snapped. And now if we put this stuff on, now hopefully we can still move it. Let's put the windows on those lines there. This is now again just using KSP parts to sort of get a nice effect there. Now I don't want the windows clipping. Sort of like that, but we can clearly see the windows need to be adjusted. And then, it's like I'm doing surgery, so I start to whisper now. Let's say like that. I know we have the black lines on the top and bottom, but we could even cover those up with that, although it doesn't really take it away. We're going to have so many unnecessary parts here. It's not going to work on the bottom now. Unless I put another strut in there just to cover up this little black line. But let's not do this. Too many part counts are going to make the thing lag. Because really the biggest source of lag for me is the clouds. That keto mod has like 43k clouds or some crazy amount like that. So its resolution is insane. So it really causes problems. So I think this will still be fine, but we need to figure out these side panels here now. First of all, let's do the easier stuff. Where are those tank things now? Tank things, where are you? Okay, so above where the okay, the engines. Now hold on. Hold on. This thing was right in the first place. I'll just have to. Oh no. Okay, no. Undo. All I have to do is move the... No, but that's not going to work. Because the solar panels are supposed to be on the side of the tanks, not on the side here where the engines are going to be. So that messes the whole thing up now. Let's do the easy thing first. Take the windows out. Just take them out. We'll find another way to put them back in. So they go there, then these things are ripped apart and placed on this side here. So again, we have to judge just above the halfway point. Let's put it in line with this segment here, the top of that thing. Just for the sake of it, I think that works. Now the windows need to be on the other side where the engines are. No, they don't. What the heck am I doing? Am I going nuts here? Okay, those round tanks are on the side of the panels, but so are the windows. How can the windows go above the solar panels? But they do. But this image is different from this one again. This one shows extra panels on the side that this one doesn't have. Why are they doing this to me? Okay, never mind this nonsense. We'll go off the photograph. They're misleading me, comrades. The image, the graphs are not always the same. I need the actual photos. So, okay, this is a photo of the actual thing attached again. So the engines are on the side of the windows. Okay, that settles it. So we are indeed on the right path. Now that's silly, man. These people who make those illustrations don't know what they're doing. Or they're using different versions of the thing, or who knows what. Who knows what. Anyway, there's my phone buzzing for some reason. I just will need to get inside here now. Avert your eyes, it gets ugly. Okay, this is insanity. Let's just take a breather. Put it here. So 2 times symmetry, and then hopefully this will allow us to move the thing to the right level, maybe. Is that okay? Yeah. Nope, I'm gonna have to move it higher. So take this away first. Give me another one of these. We probably left the other one inside here somewhere. That's not the one. There. Got you. Oh, come on. It's not gonna let me pick it up. So I have to move the whole thing. Then zoom in and try again. This is again why it might have been better to use the space plane hanger, but okay, we got it. Just don't want unnecessary parts here. It's anyway gonna be so many parts at the end of the day. It doesn't really cause a problem, but I'm also thinking now people who might want to use this and don't want to have too much lag. Okay, that's the right thing. So now we're gonna rotate this. Doesn't really know. Oh, it does actually. Which side has the tables? I think it's the right side here. Well, we'll have a look soon. Let's just guess it at this point and then move it in. Now I'm gonna be very heartbroken if this is the wrong side. I think that can work. Doesn't stick out too far. Like that maybe. Alright. Comrades, save. Okay, so we're getting somewhere now. Very interesting module here. But I'm wondering about the panels still. Engines though. Let's put the engines back on. I think we'll just have to stick to these verniers. They're supposed to be part of the Russian inspired parts anyway. So yes, this will help us to get close. You see, if I again could just take the nozzle away, we'd have a perfect engine, but that'll do. I'm not going to build a new one out of these panels because those panels are too big. They need to be exactly like that, but without the nozzle. Now, let's see. We've got this thing kinda ish now. I might move this in a bit more. Then we still need those packs with the RCS, so that's on the side of the tanks, it looks like. Yes, side of the solar panels. Okay, not a problem. Then the tanks go on the top there where the engines are. So that is now again where I'm going to be using some interpretation, comrades. So let's put the big fuel cell arrays here, 2 of them, just for the appearance of the thing. Hopefully it's not going to blow up when the engines fire. Again, it gives it that nice kind of detail. This covers up the flag, so it makes it a moot point anyway. That could work. Let's take the flag out. No unnecessary details. I don't think the thing had a flag anyway. So just try moving that out a bit. I'm gonna have to play around. Actually, the engine, because it didn't have the nozzles, that could work. It makes it sit more flushly there. And that does look like sort of electrical systems and things on the outside. That works. Now, we also have Rodnik system water tanks. That's 2 big tanks on the side and then smaller ones on the top. So we're going to have to pick a side now. I don't think that's on both sides. Now, again, this is so confusing because this, again, doesn't show the windows. So there's the window and there's a tank thing right next to it. Okay, let's put a tank right there. So then we'll say this side where the where the door was, that's the top of the thing. Actually, the door is still sticking out there, but should we move it? Let's try. As long as this thing is still going to function, that's the big thing. Yes. I think so. If we move it out even further, we're going to start moving away from the edge here. Still see that. It's just empty in the middle there. So that will have to do. Okay, yes, it's like painting. It really is like painting, comrades. You have to be a bit creative, and that's why no one's work here is going to look the same as another's. Okay, let's say this is the water tank. Even though it's monopropellant, doesn't matter. Just move it in a little bit. No, undo. F. Actually, I do want it sticking out there. Don't want it clipping. Okay, that's the water tank, comrades, a water system thing. Now we also need some other smaller tanks. Now again, every picture and thing shows different details here, so we'll just have to see what we can do. Is this now? Why is that not? Oh, it's the wrong dimension, I guess. Yes. Okay, we'll just put 2. No, we'll double it because then it'll make the whole thing easier. We'll just keep it double. Keep it balanced. Yes, as long as it looks like it's attached there. Then, how many parts do we have on this thing now? Not that I'm really concerned. 102. Just there's so many details on these things that I just simply can't recreate. I don't even know what that thing on the end is there. But it looks like it's a sort of strut thing. And what is that? Can someone explain? Handrails, that's what it says. Exit handrails. So I think to do that we'll have to pick a side now. So we've said this is the top here. Although it will be practically impossible to know which side is the top on the launch, but that's fine. We'll use this as our guide. So then at one of these points we have to know how the Kerbals going to exit this way. Which side will they face? I think they're going to face this way. So let's put this thing up here. This should be very light. It shouldn't mess the whole thing up. Then I'm going to move this so it fits on the bottom there. But it doesn't look ugly too much. Let's bury it like that. Looks neater. Then another one maybe. Yes, why not? Then we'll put a ladder thing there. It'll make it easy also if you want to grab onto the side. It is a handrail after all. I know those are now going to float in space. That looks so weird. We'll take 2 and then I'll make some kind of a thing on the edge there. But why do you make the ladders like that? Just attach a little thing there. Now, that doesn't look right. So there's another way we're going to try it. Okay, never mind this. We will attach them sideways. Two of them maybe. So I'll take one like that. One like that. So that should be balanced. Why is it like that? Okay, roughly. Now I need to repeat this thing. Now how on earth are we going to do that? Yeah, it might just be easier to build a central column and then build the rest off the sides. Okay, let's give them enough room to exit the hatch. Then this goes down until it buries the bottom there. Then we'll take these on the sides. We'll move it a bit. Then we'll just keep doing this until we've built the thing up. I know it might be a bit wider than the real thing now again, but let's take it down to there and then move this till it meets in the middle but doesn't overlap. All interpretation. Let's see, how about that? Ish, don't want this clipping madness, so it's gonna look all this just so the ladders don't float in mid-air or mid-vacuum. Can you believe it? I still have too much clipping there. That's better. Okay, let's keep going. So we'll leave gaps in between then. Then we end with that. Oh dear. Okay, well, I'm sure we can figure it out. Why do they do that sort of flashing madness there? It's because they cross this one. It's so minor though. I don't think it's necessary to tweak that even further. Then we have to find another way to solve that. All I want is this ladder not to float in mid-air. You see, at least it still kind of does, but it looks more like it's attached now to something. So I just want to move this one down so the spacing between the ladder rungs are uniform. And then we can put something on the top. But now what on earth is that? It's like an orange tube almost. I have no idea what that is. Let's use the small monopropellant. Oh, what about this? No, that's too big. Too big. No. We'll use the small monopropellant tanks, even though this is still quite massive. Just 2 or so on each side. Then I just want to balance this out again. Kind of. I'm okay with that. I have no idea what this thing is supposed to be anyway. Although it is much smaller than that. What could we use otherwise though? Why not just throw one of these on the end? That's still massive though. I have no idea. Let's say there's some kind of an experiment in there or something. Who knows? Who knows what this thing is? Someone will know. Okay. Yes, I know it's now not as long as the real thing, but this is not the real thing. Okay, anything more? Are we going to just leave these side panels like that? I think so, comrades. Whatever's in there, if it's now piping or something, it's buried in here now. Also, the other thing I know is that the directions are not the same. See, this one is vertical, this one is horizontal. But if I change that, is that possible, first of all? Let's do it anyway. Whether it's possible or not. Then only this one on the very end is not conforming. Am I doing it wrong now? No, the other side obviously is going to be its own thing. So, what do we need here? Do I need it to be like that? I do indeed. And then we just move it like this. Okay, that's now this one side done. Now we have to look at this side. So that's the same story again, but here it's going to rip the whole thing apart because that's the root. Tough, 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 tough. Let's take this as the new one. So now you see me do it anyway, so it's a good thing I skipped it earlier. Then another one here, and the final one sort of just overlaps that. Okay, never mind, we'll fix it now. So let's see, we'll move this in here. So now none of these side panel things show. Good enough for Kerbal government work. Yes, I think so. Now at least that's not going to cause an eyesore. Now, is there anything we need to do still? Save again. This weighs 10.7 tons. So let me just have a look at the thing again. And I'm sure it would have had many little antennas sticking out all over the place. And I know the solar panels actually do attach nice and flush with the thing. It's not on a strut like we have, but again. Okay, there is an antenna on the top, assuming that's the top. So it is just below where, or above where the panels stop. So actually the engine is going to have to kind of burn over it then. Now this will be our top. Now let's just hope that thing is, yes, it's on the opposite side of the top. Okay, good. Don't have to rebuild that. Now we'll just put one antenna right here-ish. Now since we've already got that, let's put it here. Uh-oh. Maybe like that, where it's sort of sticking out there. Don't like that. No, 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 no. Nope, 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 nope. Big nope. Can't do that though. Can't attach it on top of this. You're killing me here. I hope we get to use this station for a long time. But you see already, like I did with that Dream Chaser thing, it's a nice thing to then dock to. So I also think what we're going to do is we're going to build the ISS much later. Just because then it gives us more time to use this thing. Then we still have to build the Buran and many, many other things. So it's not in the middle. Okay, maybe it's not supposed to go in the middle. Difficult to say. I can't actually tell. It's a side view. This one shows a dish on it. Now make up your freaking minds here, people. One shows a dish, the other one shows like an antenna with a thing on the end. Now, who's right here? The photo doesn't show it. Let me just see here. Now, obviously this thing can't be extended while the engine is firing. Let's do that. I like this. It's better and it's slightly offset. No, I don't like the offset. I'm sorry, I'm kidding myself. Move it over, but I'll use the antenna, not a dish. We already have dish-like things on the core module. That looks nice. Okay, good. That'll do, comrades. I think let's draw the line here. We can fiddle with this thing ad infinitum, but let's not do that. Let's say this is our Kvant 2 module. Now what I want to do is save, put a crew member in here and just see if we can look out the window. Now I think Desden is still the only Kerbal available because Valentina is in the shuttle all on her lonesome in space somewhere, actually just high orbit. Let's see if Desden can look outside. He's not in the right place. There. Right, so here we are, comrades. There is our Kvant 2. Now let's have a look inside. Now there is a Okay, this side seems to be right, but we can actually see through the whole thing anyway. So we don't have the same problem. But there we can see, there we see... Why do we see that? Oh, is this the other side? Yes, this is the other side. Alright, never mind. See, and then this is the real one. What on earth is that? Obviously we'll get these weird little artifacts now because the thing is clipped in a bit. But there we can see out nicely. So I think this works. At the end of the day, the outside appearance is neatly there. So I think this will work. Alright, we'll do this, comrades. I will send this thing up, but first we need to put the RCS system in place. Righto again, so let's see, RCS system must be where? Here, I think, on the side of the panels, which need to be retracted for initial use. How shall I do this now? If I have a look again at this illustration, I keep calling it a graph, but it's an illustration. It's on the side of the panels, yes, it's to the side and back and forward, although... Side and back, is that going to be enough? Let's play around with it. So obviously that now means we can't use the four-way. It's not supposed to fire backwards. So it's supposed to fire this way. Two of them. That works. Just want it till that ring shows again. This thing is not staged, by the way. I think maybe we'll use white. Might just look better at the end of the day. Then two on each side. Pointing outwards and upwards slightly. You know, it might just be easier to use the four ways. I'm tempted, comrades. I'm going to use the four-way. Let me just see what this thing looks like. Now, obviously, that's going to fire into the panel there, but the panel is not supposed to be extended initially. So what happens if I move the thing a bit down and then rotate it very slightly? Now, of course, it fires into that thing on the bottom. Well, we're not going to use it again. We only need it to get us there, that's all. But it's not right, no. Comrades, I'm going to take a break here. I need some tea and, I don't know, just need to think about this. So I'll just save this and see you in a moment. Right, comrades, I think this will do. This is just putting three of them together. So one on each side and one sticking out there. At least this is a three-way as it's supposed to be. So now we need to do something similar on the top. Let me just have a look at the thing again. Yes, it's just pointing back and sort of out and then to the sides. Same thing on the front. I'll just use the same thing again. So I'll just copy that. Control click and we'll put it right. There or there? I guess there. Let me just see again. Where did they? Yes, it's just behind the airlock. Okay, just move this out then. Hopefully this will be enough to get the thing where it needs to go. I know this is not absolutely perfect, but it can't be because they attach very weirdly onto each other. Now that's clear and clear, so we'll leave it like that. It's clear, everything is gonna at least make logical sense, and they are in position. So I think we'll leave it at that, comrades. Hopefully this thing can go. Save. Now, I'll send this thing up, comrades, and then I will meet you outside. Now, of course, before we even think of doing that, Do we have everything that we need? Let's make sure here. Do we have monopropellant? We have only 65, 260 kilos. That's not enough. So we need more. So I need to throw more on it because obviously it's in these things. Let's throw it in tanks under here, in between here. Just gonna help. We don't need that much, but there. Part of the architecture of the whole thing. But what's sticking out here? It's this stuff. Okay, better. Then I also don't want this thing sticking out this far. It's our habit now to move it in a little, like that. And then I think we don't even need to worry about action groups for the panels there. I think that's it, comrades. So really all we have to do now is just double check 123 meters. So the upper stage of the Proton is still going to have to do most of the work there. Save again. Open. Merge it with the... not the Kvant 1. No, it doesn't matter. Merge it with that. We just don't want the tug again. So everything under there's the decoupler. So shift click and then just drag it right over. Now of course we do want to delete the fairing and build it again. This will now be quite a wide fairing, but it doesn't really matter. Oh dear, this was a bit too close. No, a bit wider than that. All the way up, and I know it's very oversized, but there it is. Throw this away, junk, we don't need it anymore, and just make sure all our staging is in order. Just move this down. Fires, that fires, that fires, then the main engine, then we get rid of the fairing, then we dump that, then we do that. Okay, save again. Comrades, I'll see you on the launch pad. We'll do the launch, sped up again. I'll launch from the desert, maybe? Nah, let's launch from where we launched before. So, I'll see you there. Let's go. Boomerang. Now it's night here. Desden. Shall we leave him? He snuck on board. We'll leave him. If he dies now, it's not going to be good. But okay, there he is. Now, where is the Mir station? This is Mir base block. I still need to rename that. We're up here. So we are going to have a night launch, it looks like. Desden was so determined. He's been on so many missions now. He wants to go to Mir again. Actually, it's a dawn launch. Alright, we're almost in place as well. F5. See you there, comrades. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Comrades, we're almost there. I'm jumping back in now because I think we should dump the upper stage now. It's done its job very nicely here, but we're getting too close to the station now. Get rid of it. So yes, I see there's some kind of clipping effects occasionally happening with these panels, but I think it's unavoidable. Unfortunate, but there we are. Let me just see if this thing is gonna fire. I hope we can maneuver appropriately here. We should be able to use the reaction system there. Not enough crew. Let's put Destin in there. Maybe it's a good thing he's here. It's not there. Transfer him into that. Let's also hope the airlock works. I never tested that. We will also now say control from here. Just to be sure we know what we're doing, but now obviously, actually, it's reversed. No, let's go back to the probe core if I can find it. Man, it's a jumble in here. Control from here. Yes, much better. Now we're getting close, comrades, so I think... Whoa, what happened there? Why the sudden loss of control? Okay, never mind. Lock to the retro immediately, please. What are you doing? I'm not sure this thing is... Oh, wait a minute. It should be controlled from here. Oh dear. Well, we have enough time. Just because the engines are pointing backwards, of course. That's what the problem was. Now, are we going back? No. Point towards the target. We still have a few seconds of fuel left. Okay, it should work. Let's hope. Let's move this stuff there. Okay. I think we'll make it, comrades. I'm gonna F5 it. Okay. Let me just see again, where is this module supposed to go? It is supposed to go to the top of the, where the top panel is of the core module. Okay, got it. So let's get closer again. Yeah, it moves too far. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, keep going. Yes, now it starts drifting again. Okay, let's move it back down again. 0.4 2 1 0. Okay, 4.8 meters is not bad. So this thing is now going on its own power, and hopefully it will work. So I think we need to be on this side. But what I'll do is I'll just reorient the mirror itself. It's not supposed to point these weird angles. As you see, if every time I make it point to the normal and anti-normal, and then when we look again, it's off on a different tangent, but that's the nature of the beast. So let's just get ready to slow down. It's a very slow process here. Two, 8, 7, 6. I will make it. Okay, not any less. F5 again, who knows what's going to happen. So there is where we need to be, above where the Progress is docked currently. All I did with the Progress was I changed the color of the fairing and the color of the tank on the back, and I put a monopropellant tank in where the crew would have been normally. It's still the normal crew module, of course. It still looks like the normal Soyuz, but it's got a tank there, because where the descent module is, that's where like the liquid resupply stuff goes, so like fuel and stuff like that. So also the other thing I need to change with the Progress, but we'll look at that later when the station is finished. It doesn't have any ability to separate into pieces again. It doesn't have a heat shield and all of that. It's all supposed to burn up on re-entry. Now if I just change this now, let's go to locked. So this is our top. No, that's our top. Okay, just got to keep that in mind. But first of all, we need to just get to this thing now. Change our thing there. We're pointing there, but we're also not pointing there. Strange. But now we have to go to the left and around. But I think the first thing is, oh, it's night also now. Not good. This has to be a very precise maneuver. So I think, okay, whoa. Slow down there. But we can actually go to the side. This thing is very easily controllable, I have to say. So that's our docking port right there. Set as target. I like this. I like this a lot. I think this is my favorite module so far. Now we're coming around here. Let's hope that... Ooh, blast, that's a problem. We might not have enough room given the solar panel. But we should, because this thing is wider than 2.5 meters now. More than I calculated originally. Okay, now let's just get this thing pointing the right way. Slow us down and then go up. Why are you spinning like this? Okay, F5, this is a bit nuts here. Let's just have a look at this thing now. So what I want is... Ooh, where is this supposed to go? I'm gonna just stop everything for a moment. Let me go to the image again. Now the top of the thing actually points towards where the Progress is. Okay. Got it. So the top, that's where we put that extra tank, goes to the outside. Okay. Now get back into the game. So resume. Let's just not lose control here. So this is the top, it must point out. So let's roll. So 0 degrees literally on this thing. It's gonna be a tight fit there. I hope it fits. Oh, I really hope it fits. Okay, go to fine controls. We're in the home stretch now. Oh no, is it not gonna fit? Okay, the station is on an angle here from where we are, so we need to drop a little. Oh, good grief. Comrades, we've been going so long I ran out of disk space again, so I just immediately paused it, of course. Bandicam luckily does not lose any recordings. It immediately notifies me if we're out of space, so we can continue again. So yes, where were we? Not a good time to now have that drama as well. What are you doing? Oh man, I'm doing the wrong thing. Tell me that station is not moving. What are we doing? What are we doing? We're going... This thing has now really broken my concentration. Okay, we're at 0.6 degrees. Now we'll have enough room. Thank goodness. Thank goodness I remembered that just before we launched the core block. Okay, I'm gonna try tweaking that degrees. I want us to be perfect. Okay. Roughly. Perfect and then roughly. Oxymoron. Anyway, just 0.001, just less than 1 degree. It must be very close. Let's hope this thing works. Off with the control. Snap. There we are. Let's see what we end up with, comrades. Lights on. This is why we have the lights. It's right. It's right. We got it right, comrades. F5 immediately. What a relief. Okay, these are sure marathon episodes, I have to say. But there it is, comrades. The Kvant 2 is in position. Whether the docking, or not the docking, the airlock port works is another question. Now we also have a stowaway on the station, so let's wait till sunrise and then ask our stowaway to... Actually, it's sunset. So the other side. Then we'll ask our stowaway to test the airlock. But we'll let him back in, of course. So now we'll say control from one of the docking ports again. And let's go normal. Doesn't matter, I just want us to have a nice level orientation here. Then of course this thing is also rolled like this on that illustration that we saw on Wikipedia, with these two panels going on the vertical. Okay, just get us nicely there, and then let things settle. Turn off the lights. Just say stability assist, although it's losing it again. Oh well. Open up the panels. Now we're sure gonna have a lot of power here. Yes, it's coming together, comrades. It's coming together very nicely. Now can you stop your wobbling, please? Okay, now let's see if we can get out here. Where are you? EVA, please. Yes, it works. Okay, thank goodness there. But he points the wrong way now. But it's one of those things. Let go. Grab. He can go there. Let go again. Ooh. Station is flexing a little bit here. It's because he's bumping into this on the back. So let go. Use your jetpack. No. R. And then I suppose this is sort of some experiment. I didn't even put extra experiment stuff on here because we don't really need it. But we can imagine this is something to do with an experiment. So there he is now doing a spacewalk. And our station is starting to look like something now, comrades. I'm very happy with this. We got the angles just right there, I think. So let's just say board again. Also, this makes it much easier if you're doing a spacewalk and you need something to grab onto. Just grab onto the ladder and then board from there. So I think that'll do for this episode, but let's have a quick look. Well, we're not going to see much. We're just going to look into the solar panel there. Transfer the crew into this module. Just wait for them to come back in. And Is it? Yes, it's this side. You see, we're looking right into the panel. But that's a view for the ages, comrades. F1. Let me just exit here again, and then we probably just take a thumbnail like this. F1. There we go. Comrades, I hope you've enjoyed a marathon episode, but I certainly had fun making it. However, we better turn the engines off here. If I ever hit shift, we're in trouble. They did come in handy at the end. Of course, these engines are the Soyuz and the Progress. So, save again. Comrades, see you next time. We will be building the... Is it the Crystal? Well, one of them anyway. Then we'll be doing the next part. So, I'm so happy how everything is coming together. Actually, what I might do, comrades, before the next episode, I'll relaunch the Kvant 1 with the solar panels on the side. I'll still not put the big thing on the top here. I'll leave that for another episode. But just so we at least have the panels there, because we have no attachment points there. So the rest I'll keep exactly the same. You don't have to worry. You won't miss anything there. So see you next time. And have a fantastic day, comrades. Signing out or off from the Mir station.